But today, I want to convince you of something counterintuitive that I've learned from the class of 2024. The power of not knowing. I grew up in the Great Plains of Nebraska, alongside cattle ranches and cornfields. As the eldest daughter of South Asian immigrants, I was the first in my family to attend college here in the US. There was a lot I didn't know. When it came time, I asked my parents how to apply to colleges, and they too said, I don't know. The words, I don't know, used to make me feel powerless, like there was no answer, and therefore no way, as if I was admitting defeat. From Nebraska to Harvard, I found myself redefining this feeling of not knowing. I discovered a newfound power in how much I didn't know. I didn't know a field called the history of science even existed. And I now find myself a graduate of the department. Here, for the first time in my life, I had a professor of color, a historian of science who taught me history is just as much about the stories we don't know as the stories we do. In the history of science, we often look for what is missing. What documents are not in the archives? And whose voices are not captured in history? I've learned silence is rarely empty, often loud. I've learned this not only in the classroom, but also from the class of 2024. In reflecting on our collective moments at Harvard, I've realized it's the moments of uncertainty from which something greater than we could have ever imagined grows. And our class has experienced more than our fair share of the unknown. In our first year, during COVID, we didn't have Annenberg to meet 100 people in an hour and walk out remembering 5 names. What did we do? Hefes became the new Annenberg, and we learned to connect differently, building quality over quantity in our friendships. In our sophomore year, Roe v. Wade was overturned, and there was, and still is, in many parts of the country, an omnipresent uncertainty in accessing reproductive health care. In our junior year, Harvard faced the Supreme Court and the decision to reverse affirmative action. Whether we realize it or not, we've been swimming in uncharted waters. Which brings me to our senior year. A year on campus marked by enormous uncertainty. In the fall, my name and identity, alongside other Black and brown students at Harvard, was publicly targeted. For many of us students of color, doxing left our jobs uncertain, our safety uncertain. This semester, our freedom of speech and our expressions of solidarity became punishable, leaving our graduations uncertain. As I stand before you today, I must take a moment to recognize my peers. The 13 undergraduates in the class of 2024 who will not graduate today. I am deeply disappointed by the intolerance for freedom of speech and the right to civil disobedience on campus.